Iran's leader dilemma, dead candidates, new hope, and the Pahlavi factor. The deadly power vacuum. February 28, 2026, a date that changes the course of Middle Eastern history. In one devastating wave of U.S. and Israeli attack strikes on Tehran, the unthinkable happens. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is killed. Alongside him, the strike claims top IRGC commanders, the defense minister, and key members of the inner circle. The man who ruled Iran with an iron fist for 37 years is suddenly gone. There is no clear successor. There is no pre-planned transition. In an instant, the Islamic Republic is thrust into its greatest internal crisis since 1979 revolution. Today, we are breaking down the leader dilemma. We will explore the rushed succession of Mojtaba Khamenei, the IRGC's silent coup, and why the exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi is suddenly being viewed as the opposition's new hope. This isn't just a political shift, it's a transformation that could reshape global oil markets and the future of the BRICS alliance. The killing that changed everything. To understand the weight of this moment, you have to understand Ali Khamenei. He wasn't just the head of state, he was the glue holding the fractured system together. Since succeeding Ayatollah Khamenei in 1989, he spent decades balancing three volatile pillars of power: the traditional cleric, the hardline politicians, and the massive economic and military empire of the IRGC. But by 2026, the foundation was already cracking. Years of brutal sanctions, domestic protests, and draining proxy wars had left the regime vulnerable. When the 2026 war broke out, Operation Epic Fury didn't just hit military bases, it decapitated the leadership. Under the Iranian constitution, the Assembly of Experts, a group of 88 senior clerics, is supposed to choose the next leader. But in the chaos of wartime, with communication lines down and top officials in hiding, the constitutional process was bypassed. The real decision moved from Moscow to the bunkers. Mojtaba Khamenei, the sun who rose. In the immediate aftermath, one name emerged from the shadows: Mojtaba Khamenei. At 56 years old, the late leader's second son has spent years operating behind the scenes. He never held an office, he never held an official government post, but he controlled the Habib Circle, a powerful network of IRGC hardliners. In early March 2026, the Assembly of Experts announced that Mojtaba had as the new Supreme Leader. It was a near unanimous vote, but reports suggest it was heavily influenced by IRGC pressure. This marks the first father to son succession in the history of the Islamic Republic, a dynastic move that has shocked even regime insiders. Why Mojtaba? For the IRGC, the answer is loyalty and continuity. They see him as a figurehead they can control. However, his rise has been met with immediate internal hostility. President Trump has already labeled the choice unacceptable, and Israel has signaled that Mojtaba is a legitimate target. So far, the new leader has remained largely invisible. His first official message was read by a news anchor, calling for continued resistance and threatening to use the Strait of Hormuz as a global economic weapon. But with rumors swirling that he was injured in initial strikes, many are asking, is Mojtaba truly in charge, or is he just a mask for a military junta? The real power struggle. IRGC takes control. We are witnessing the death of the Iranian theocracy and the birth of a military dictatorship. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, already in control of the nation's missiles and nuclear program, has moved to fill the power vacuum. Senior veterans from the 1980s Iran and Iraq war era are reclaiming the spotlight. Figures like the Parliament Speaker Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, a former IRGC commander, have gained massive influence as the clerics are sidelined. The IRGC is prioritizing military survival over religious ideology. The shift has massive implications for the New World. A military-led Iran is less likely to engage in traditional diplomacy and more likely to double down on its ballistic drone program and its axis of resistance. While the regime's proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis have been weakened, they remain the IRGC's primary tool for leverage. The internal struggle is no longer between reformists and hardliners. It is now a battle between those who want to save the regime through total war and those who are looking for an exit strategy. Reza Pahlavi, the opposition's new hope. While Tehran burns, a different vision for Tehran is gaining momentum abroad. Reza Pahlavi, the 65-year-old son of the last Shah, has lived in exile for nearly half a century, but in 2026 his voice is louder than ever. Speaking recently at CPAC, Pahlavi positioned himself not as a king, but as a transitional figure. He has called for a democratic referendum promising a free Iran that ends nuclear threats and stops the disruption of global shipping. His message is clear: reintegrate Iran into the global community and make the nation great again. His support base is surging, particularly among the Iranian diaspora and younger generation inside Iran, who are tired of the theocratic rule. However, Pahlavi faces significant hurdles. The Iranian opposition is notoriously divided between monarchist Republicans and various ethnic groups. Furthermore, Western leaders remain skeptical about whether Pahlavi can actually mobilize a revolution on the ground while living in the United States. Despite these challenges, in the moment of a total leadership vacuum, Pahlavi represents the only organized alternative to the current chaos. What this means for the world. The leadership dilemma in Iran has created a butterfly effect across the globe. If Mojtaba and the IRGC maintain their grip, expect oil prices to remain volatile as they use the Strait of Hormuz to hold the world economy hostage. This also strengthens the BRICS alliance push for de-dollarization as Iran seeks more oil for yuan deals to bypass Western banking systems. Conversely, if the regime fractures further, we could see a total collapse of the proxy network that has dominated Middle Eastern geopolitics for decades. A transition toward the vision shared by Reza Pahlavi could lead to a pro-Western Iran, stabilizing energy markets and fundamentally shifting the balance of power in Eurasia. But transitions of this magnitude are rarely peaceful. The coming weeks will determine if Iran doubles down on confrontation or finally seeks an off-ramp from 47 years of revolutionary struggle. To conclude this, Iran is at a crossroad. The dead candidates have cleared the path for new, younger, and perhaps more dangerous leadership under Mojtaba Khamenei. Yet, the new hope, represented by the Pahlavi-led opposition, suggests that Iranian people may be ready for a different path entirely. This internal struggle will shape the outcome of the current war, the price of gasoline at your local station, and the future of the global financial system. We want to hear more from you. Will Mojtaba Khamenei be able to consolidate power? Or is the IRGC simply using him?
In Iran, real power doesn't sit with the president, it's held by the Supreme Leader. He's the country's top political and religious authority, believed by his followers to be divinely ordained. The role was created after the 1979 Islamic Revolution, based on the doctrine a senior cleric should oversee the state to ensure it follows Islamic law. That principle is written into Iran's constitution, giving one-man authority over all elected institutions. The Supreme Leader is Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He appoints top military commanders and has direct influence over the Revolutionary Guard. He can declare war or peace and has final authority over national security and nuclear policy. Politically, he appoints the head of the judiciary, half of the powerful Guardian Council, and important oversight bodies. He can approve or dismiss the president and signs off on major state policies. He's also the highest religious authority within the system. The Supreme Leader is not chosen by public vote. Instead, he's selected by the Assembly of Experts, an 88-member clerical body elected by voters, but whose candidates are vetted by the system. The Assembly reviews potential successors and appoints one leader or a leadership council. If the Supreme Leader dies, resigns, or is incapacitated, a temporary council, usually including the president, the judiciary chief, and a senior cleric, oversees the country until a successor is chosen. Iran has experienced only one such transition since 1979. Because so much authority is concentrated in a single office, succession is one of the most sensitive moments in the Islamic Republic, with implications not just for Iran, but for the wider region.
We have 20,000 seafarers are still stranded inside the Strait of Hormuz and around 2,000 vessels that are not able to sail. And of course, the longer that those ships stay there, the longer that the crew continues to suffer the stress, mental health, and fatigue, as well as the reduction of all the supplies that they need for the ships to continue to operate. Many insurances have been canceled because they don't cover the work risk. Others have increased their premiums to levels that, of course, are not affordable or are not really economically viable. But one of the main concerns with this is that even with insurance, we can insure the cargo, we can insure the ship itself, but we cannot insure a human life. So that is a risk not worth taking when we're talking about innocent seafarers on board the vessels. And this is why we are right now engaging with the countries in the region in order to establish a humanitarian corridor or a mechanism that would allow us to start allowing those ships to leave the region. We have used escort vessels.
Can Reza Pahlavi truly unify a fractured nation from exile? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights are what drives this channel, deep dive discussions. If you found this briefing valuable, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. In our next video, we'll be analyzing the specific military capabilities Iran has left in its arsenal as the conflict intensifies. The Islamic Republic is fighting for its life. The world is watching. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.